I acknowledged that before. That was my starting point. We really appreciated what was going on. Ourselves, we are disturbed. In answering your question, sir, like I stated, Nigerian Peace Corps Bill went to the two chambers of the National Assembly. Everything that the Senate passed, the House of Reps passed, was all about the Nigerian Peace Corps Bill, which we forwarded to the sponsors of the bill. It is only one section of the bill passed by the Senate that they brought in the name National Unity and Peace Corps. Only just a section, and also the fashion, the nomenclature, the everything about the bill is the two bills are there for you to see. I gave one copy last 3 weeks to the chairman committee of the Interior because he wasn't around, so he was not equipped with this fact. I gave him the harmonization report whereby the provision for Nigerian Peace Corps, which is ours, the provision of National Unity and Peace Corps, and what was finally adopted. I presented it. Now, sir, if you go by the conference committee report, which are regarded as the national committee report.
You know, my question is quite straight.
I'm asking your question now,
yes,
directly now. The bill passed. If you look at the clause here, House of Reps version adopted. That is to say, the bill is exclusively giving statutory recognition to the existing Peace Corps of Nigeria.
Which one?
My organization. The only provision there is that any group, body, association that shares similar objectives, that is demonstrate interest in joining us, should approach us.
So you think you own it?
I don't own it. So the very day we brought this before National, we have surrendered our mandate to the federal government of Nigeria. If Mr. President signs now, it's no longer my bill. It's no longer my organization. It has become an organization owned by the federal government.
It was never your bill.
Yes, sir. That is why I say we have surrendered the organization to you and the federal government. So I can't regard it as ACOS bill now or Peace Corps of Nigerian bill. It will become government organization that Mr. President can appoint anybody at will. I have read the provision of this bill. We wrote it elementary before we forwarded it to you as an expert before you work on it and produce the final copy. So I know all the nitty-gritties of this bill.
Chairman, colleagues, one of the reasons why the committee, which is very, very unusual, after the conference committee report was the circumstances that followed the passage of this bill by the House of Representatives and also the Senate. There were allegations that, I don't know whether it's your faction or the other faction, were collecting money from youth, unemployed people who wanted employment, that gave them the assurance that they will be employed as soon as the bill is signed. Some members of the Senate too were also approached by their constituents asking for money to pay for this recruitment exercise, and the forms were issued upon the payment of 40,000. This issue came up before the Senate, and they felt that why should a bill that is still in the process of being passed into law allow the organizations concerned to be going to take money from applicants? So this was the issue that was raised. So the question is, why were your organization asking for money from people for recruitment when the bill was yet to be passed into law? This bill could go either way. It could be passed into law and then it will create a new organization entirely. If you ask the chairman of this committee or the Peace Corps, with the passage of this law, Mr. President can decide to appoint a new set of people without you being involved in it or any other of the faction. Why were you collecting money from applicants for recruitment when this bill was yet to be passed into law? This was the issue that was raised in the Senate. So I don't know what is your reaction to that. And also when the police came before us, the police, the SSS, and the DSS, They complain that either you or, are you Mr. Ako?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are the one that was arraigned.
Yes,
They told us that you were arraigned because of certain activities that you engage in which they consider to be criminal in nature. And that's why you were arrested and arraigned before the court, irrespective of this organization. So I don't know what is your reaction to all this.
Maybe, Mr. Chairman, you have conference committee report. I'm surprised that you have that. Before you can become a document you exhibit wherever you go to, you have to formally write to the National Assembly or to the Senate. And then they will give you certified true copy of what is allowed to be given. But the bill is still in the process. So the conference committee report has to be, there has to be a concurrence by both the House of Reps and the Senate. And because there was no concurrence, that was the reason why this exercise was referred to this, the very distinguished landlord of the Senate, Senator Just Manager, referred to as the Committee of the Wise. That is why we are meeting with you, because there was careless. That's the language. There was careless. So I think you, in answering that question, you'll be clarifying one of the careless. And again, it's almost like foisting a fait accompli on the federal government and the rest of us. We don't want a situation whereby we pass a bill and the president signs it into an act and it becomes a function of legalizing an illegality. Because the recruitment process was done by you and all that. In the course of discussion, I can mention that some people were worried that even in police recruitment, some criminals, some armed robbers find their way into police colleges because they want to use that uniform to perpetrate their crime and stay there on, hidden. So there's a process in uniform organizations that they call vetting, and that vetting is normally done by the DSS and other committees that are that have intelligence background. So in your own case, I don't know who did the vetting and all that, because I know that it will help in terms of unemployment, but it means that it is you that did it alone. Most people did not pay 40,000. Actually, it was 45,000, and the 45,000 was because they said you wanted uniform and kits or stuff like that for them, something like that. So maybe you will just clarify. But this is still in the process. This has not been passed, and then the complication here, why these wise men had to meet, is also the issue of these three different factions. So maybe my question would be that how do you think this can be resolved after you have explained?
My question is, first of all, how many factions of ISCO are here?
Okay.
Secondly,
right here.
they will vote, I mean, all the factions will identify themselves. Secondly, what makes each faction thinks or lay claim to the bill that is being discussed today? And who among the factions is the original, who originates, who presented, or who brought the bill to the National Assembly? These are my three questions. Both House of Rep and the Senate. And if you look at the bill here, the letter you wrote us, I think so, contains two numbers. Our one serial number is 173. There is 183. That is to tell us after our bill, they have other 9 bills even before their own bill. We were in the National Assembly Senate for a good 6 months before their own bill was introduced. And they never approached the House of Rep. So you have to, the Senate alone has 2 bills. There's no issue of fashion didn't even arise. For the Senate, we have 2 bills.
Sorry, let me just clarify. I think the National Assembly, as a matter of fact, does not make laws for individuals.
We understand, sir.
So you won't get that correct. Every bill that comes goes through a process. Mr. Chairman.
I appreciate that there have been issues raised that brought about this committee sitting. You did say in one of your remarks a while ago, the bill for the youth code was introduced in the Senate by Senator Ndume in the Senate. Now, we were aware when we started deliberations, so that we don't belabor this issue, so that we get very clear-headed on this, that two different organizations all laying claim to be youth, belong to the youth, and pursuing security functions. When we found we were being unnecessarily belabored on the issue, we decided to see if they could have the two merged into one to make it easier for the National Assembly to handle. And there was an agreement, at least to my understanding, I was at the meeting, you know, this was under the Committee on Internal Affairs. We went through all the processes where there were differences, as is the tradition with the National Assembly. We have a conference between the Senate and the House of Reps. This was undertaken. Now, I think it was in the course of reporting the conference of the two chambers that some of these allegations started being flown around. I want to just, without prejudice the case that is in court, I understand there's a case in court. Without prejudice that case, ordinarily, we won't listen to you, we won't listen to anybody with that case in court. But going by personal experience, and I'm not ashamed of saying so, I was privileged to be a governor in one of the states of this country some time back. And in the course of that, I have come to have contact with some of these kind of people that want registration. See, civil defense, a good example. Civil defense. We know what we did to get the federal government to accept to register them. And for each of these organizations, distinguished chair, any security outfit that was there before them would oppose their being coming to existence. And this is not just unique to the one that we're talking about now. So all that I want to warn is, I don't want us to come from the back door and open the debate that we had, the public hearing we did and everything, and bring them out here. If there are specific cases of allegations, let's pick them, address them, so that we don't deliver the issue. This meeting was supposed to start at 2 o'clock. We came here at 2 o'clock, right? And I am fasting. I want to go and pray. And we are opening and opening and opening. And the way things are going now, I don't see us getting any headway.
Mr. Chairman, you see, the 8 years governor of the good people of Nasarawa State.
No, I mind the good and the bad.
I want to say that the analysis of what is on ground now is slightly different from that of the civil defense. Because right now there are claimants. Everybody, about 3 or 4 groups are now claiming to own this particular Peace Corps. So there's chaos already out there. And I think, yes, there was public hearing. Quite a lot of other things were done. There was a first reading, there was second reading, for which we debated it. And then at the end of the day, it was referred to a committee. Committee turned in its report. Clause by clause reading was done. But before the National Assembly itself, before the National Assembly passed this there's already a problem over there. So if at the end of the day, some of these things are not well done, unlike that of the civil defense, where somebody followed it up. Right now, even the sponsor of the bill a sponsor who actually sponsored this bill is a problem. But unlike that of the civil defense, one Dr. Bodoni also followed it up to a level when the bill was assented to. It was given to somebody to go and implement. But right now, Ndume sponsored the bill here, and somebody else sponsored it in the House of Reps. And before we pass it here, there is already problem. So 3 or 4 groups are already claiming to it, and the issue of uniform is coming into it. The issue of police harassment. Well, I agree with you that there is this selfishness on the part of the already established security outfit. So that one, there's no doubt about that. Our history is replete with it. But before you start blaming others, let us be sure these other people are also doing it right. And that's the reason why I asked the question whether they have factions. And then he said about 2 or 3. Look at this man, already dressed. He's a general of the police corps already. Look at this uniform. And then the other man is referring to him as this man. So there is confusion, and that is what we have come to cure. So please don't be worried that we are doing this thing. Please, my elder statesman, I'm appealing to you not to be worried. Mr. Chairman, sir.
Thank you, Most Ranking. Yeah, answer the question.
The question you asked, distinguished Senate man, I gave them our constitution. The Peace Corps has been in existence since 1990, and our members work in schools and colleges. The payment is for their complete set of uniform and accommodation during orientation for 1 month. Government is not funding us. But these youth, after being trained, if not for the interference, they are posted to schools to go and work. I believe it was because of the enormous tax by His Excellency the former governor of Akwa Ibom. If there's any governor that stepped after the civil senator, Abdullahi is the one. He has forgotten he gave us